What is going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a good Tuesday. Bobby Fi here. Sheets is out today. He'll be back tomorrow, and then he's got the live final this weekend. So good luck to him. I'm actually playing one of the $700 satellites tonight to try to get in there, just so I can go hang out for a couple days in Scottsdale and try and take something down. But I usually don't play the satellites, the qualifiers. I've done all the live stuff. It's a really fun experience, but it is you're definitely paying some more rake than you think you are. Obviously, satelliting in is the way to go, but whether it just all the nice stuff that they give you, which is really, really fun. It's a great experience, but just realize that it's probably not worth quite as much as the tickets say they are. Having said that, maybe that'll get me the win tonight. I did want to mention, as I've talked about a number of times, we partnered with SaberSim a long time ago. We're partnered now with DFS Pater DFS. I think we really have like the most unique offering in the industry. We are doing some trials. You guys can welcome to check it out that way. But, Sheets and my results should sort of speak for themselves. But in addition to all of Sheets' projections, all of my content, all of Goldie's projections, which are awesome as well, and then everything from Paydirt, which is just an incredible tool. I think we have a really, really unique offering, and I think that you guys could really get a lot of use out of it, both for sports betting and for DFS especially. I also wanted to mention, we have Brandon Cruz doing all the NASCAR stuff, one of the best around, and just does an incredible job. We do have NASCAR packages only if you guys want to check that out. We also have Adam doing a lot of NHL stuff for us now, Adam Perry. Excellent stuff by him. Sheets does some of it as well, including the projections along with Goldie. And then, we're really building out our team here. So a lot of great stuff going on. Hopefully you guys can check out the site. I think that we have an incredible offering that is only a fraction more than the SaberSim offering itself. And we've got a lot of other stuff, and we couldn't be more happy with our partners and where we're at and what we're doing this year to get better. So really, really appreciate it. Also, I've been going into the premium channel, doing the live shows for less time here, and then jumping into the premium channels and going through exactly what I'm doing for every NBA slate. NBA is a little bit of a different animal, obviously, than any other DFS sport. Just so much late swapping, so much late news, so much everything. So I like to go in there and talk about my exact exposures, which I post every day anyway. You'll know exactly what I'm doing every day if you follow the site, for better or worse. Anyway, with that said, let's get into this slate. It's a little one, but it's going to be a fun one. I'm looking forward to it because there can't be that much news, right, on a 4-gamer. And if there is, it'll probably come in at 6:50 Eastern time. But so what? We're not going to complain. We're going to go after it, and we're going to talk about this slate where we're at. Jimmy, I appreciate that, but no, I'm not going to do a live sweat for a satellite tournament ever. I don't like doing live sweats, period, unless Sheets is there. I'll come in and do it, but I'd rather not be the one sweating my lineups. I really hate it. I know it's really entertaining and it's really fun, but it's stressful. It's like when when I won that tournament, when I got stat corrected a couple weeks ago out of first place to 3 guys with the same lineup, and I ended up making 5,000 instead of 100,000. And making a tiny bit of money on the night. It's pretty brutal when those things happen, and it's not a lot of fun to go through it live. If Sheets is hosting it, he does a great job. We will be doing more live stuff, live sweat shows and stuff, but it's mostly going to be Sheets hosting those. We also, if you are a site member, are offering roundtable coaching sessions that we'll put on video, at least for our members, if not for everyone. But I think it's a really valuable thing, and the people who have done them with us so far have done really well. So I would encourage anybody, if you are a site member, to send Goldie a message. We do have a schedule out there, but I don't have it with me right now. But again, I think it's a really helpful tool for anybody who is a member of TrueDFS. And with that said, we're going to get into this slate and talk through this 4-gamer. I'm happy I didn't play last night. I don't know if after I found out Jokic was out that I would have gotten to the Grimes thing. It might have, because I would have just been looking for spend ups with upside, and Grimes in his hometown. And initially it was more just on the play Luka and Jokic thing. I think there would have been other ways to go around it. So I'm not even sure what ended up winning or where Grimes ended up owned, but obviously had just another completely massive game. I mean, it is incredible what he's doing. You really know with NBA that there's it's incredible how good these guys are. And most people are just playing a role. So we get this idea of them that they're this person in this role. And Grimes is a great example of that. He is basically always been that role, just played 3-and-D guy or whatever. But you see what happens when they let him shoot the ball. It's pretty incredible. And look at a guy like Austin Reeves, could have been buried somewhere else. Fortunately, the Lakers saw enough in him and kind of were desperate for another ball handler over the last couple of years and realizing very quickly that D'Angelo Russell was the most overrated player in the history of basketball and didn't really have a place on any good NBA team as a starting player. They realized that, and Austin Reeves got his chance. And look at what Austin Reeves has been doing. It's just unbelievable. So just wanted to mention that, just as we've got to grow with the player and not have these preconceived notions about who they've been in the past as much as who they are right now in this role that they're at. So anyway, I wanted to say that, a little shout out to Quentin Grimes, because he's just incredible what he's doing. I ran without touching anything. I'm gonna obviously go through this and talk about plays that I like and all this stuff. But I didn't run anything. This is what I got on my first run through without changing the min uniques, just using the SaberSim projections. And again, the slate's gonna change throughout the day. But as of right now, this is what came up. I'm also going to be changing, as you guys know, I always change the player projections to closer to where I feel fit. And but as of right now, it looks like a slate without a ton of value. So you're seeing some thin value plays. My guess is with some of these teams on a back-to-back, at least Golden State, maybe we see a little bit of value open up a little bit later that we don't know about right now, because it happens every day. Why wouldn't it happen today? These last couple of weeks of the NBA season, really it's last month, are just a grind. I'm excited for the playoffs already. I think it's going to be a great one. A lot of really, really good teams, especially in the West. And it's a lot of fun to play playoff DFS. The name of the game, you could spot trends and really make adjustments, because you actually know who's going to be playing and what they're playing for, where we don't have that information for a lot of stuff, what's going on right now. So if you're jumping on in, please like and subscribe and all that stuff. We do want to keep doing some of these videos for free. Again, we're switching over to doing a lot more premium content for our subscribers, and it's been paying off for the most part. So hopefully you guys are, if you're not subscribing, or even if you are, just click the like button, keep the numbers up for us so we can keep doing these videos for free. All right, going through it, obviously Atlanta is a place that people are wanting to target today. I'm just going to take a quick look at my little cheat sheet here. It's interesting this year with Charlotte, because I think that the historical idea of the way we look at them is they play super fast. They're actually 20th in pace over the last 10 games. And I really look at the last 10, just another thing that I would rather always look at the last 10 games rather than the whole season overall, because you really get a better feel for what's happening. But again, maybe a little bit of a high total. Again, Atlanta, though, on the other hand, Atlanta, who was the fastest pace playing team for a little while, they've been 7th over their last 10 games. Nothing really to read into over that. Just wanted to throw it out there. It's still poor defensive teams going to lead to scoring. Maybe the total is a little bit higher than it should be, but either way, I totally understand getting to a lot of this in Atlanta. As of right now, I'm not sure I really change anything. The one guy who I always bump up, just because he tends to be under projected, especially in good matchups, and I would consider this still a good matchup, even with Charlotte playing historically slower than usual, would be Dyson Daniels. I think that there's upside. It's one of those safe guys you feel like most of the time gets you in the 36 to 40 range. Maybe we bump him up a half a point, nothing crazy. Just again, that'll make a difference though. When you do your build, you'll see it'll make a big difference. Even 1 point or a half a point can change a lot. But yeah, obviously getting to a lot of the Guay right now, just because of the value. Obviously we prefer something else. Guay's minutes are very, very, there's some serious downside on whatever minutes we have it projected for, which right now we've got him projected at 23, 24 minutes. That's an extremely high projection to me. So I'm going to lower his projection later today. He hasn't played that many minutes in this year. So I don't know why we'd have him so high. So my guess is that number is going to come down quite a bit. I'm actually going to lower it right now because it's just too high. It should be closer to what Goldie's got him at 18. That seems better. Maybe I'll split the difference and make it 19 for right now. Anyway, but that just stands out right away. And I'm guessing that later in the day we see that his ownership and his projection come down. I would be very, very surprised if it doesn't. Not to say he can't have a game in 20 minutes. I don't buy that minutes projection at all about him. On the other side, Charlotte, they've been, messing around with some of their lineups a little bit lately. We've got Daquan Jeffries at, as a cheap value piece. I don't mind it. It's not like the most exciting thing in the world, but look, with no Bridges, I do think that this is one we're going to probably be on tonight. I actually prefer this play. I know it's a little more expensive than I do the Guay. So look, not going to raise it a ton. I don't even want to raise it at a full. I'm not going to raise anything yet. That's one I'm considering for later. But look, both point guards in this game, easy to have a nice little mini stack with Trey and LaMelo. I actually think this projection on LaMelo looks right. The ownership doesn't look right to me. Why did I only get 28% in my last build? That feels a little bit low. I like the Mark Williams play a little bit more than the SaberSim is giving me, so that's one I'll bump up later if I don't get there. Josh Green has had some good games now. His good games are sort of outliers. You saw but I mean, like most of the time you're getting that 9, 12, 15, even look, he's put up 9 fantasy points in 30 minutes. But look, it's a bump up for everybody with no bridges. I still don't feel great about the Josh Green play, so I'm not minding not getting to much of it right now. Definitely don't mind the Nick Smith. And the Nurkic one is interesting because I feel like it's a little more speculative. I don't think they're going to play him with Williams. I don't think I want this number of Nurkic at all. So the price, sure, it's fine, but I don't know where I don't think we need to get like 40% of it. I'm just going to lower him a little bit now. I'll revisit it later, but weirdly, not a lot of question marks on this team. We seem to have this game seems to have, knock on wood, basically who we think is going to be playing. And I'm just going to take a quick look and make sure there wasn't anything from morning shoot around that I missed. No, nothing. So this game looks fairly clean as of right now. All right, moving over to Brooklyn and Boston. I think the right answer, if you're going to do anything, I always like getting a little bit of exposure to Claxton. Now, that's not going to change much with that projection. Again, not a lot of question marks for Brooklyn today. A little weird to see so few. I think the actual play that I could talk myself into would be the Day'Ron Sharpe. I think there's upside here for him. And one of these two centers, I expect to have a decent game. Always hard to pick which one. And if the game is going to stay reasonably close, you'd think Cam Johnson would play a part. Zaire Williams. It's mostly a cross-off for me, except for to try and get different. I would rather do other stuff. We do have Tatum questionable. Usually when somebody from Boston's questionable, somebody sits. I'm not going to speculate. I think we should know before the game a fair bit. Boston's been fairly good about that. But I really do think that there's a chance. And if he does sit, what does that mean? As Sheets would say to the average man, we already have Jaylen Brown out. I think these projections are already a little bit low. So I'm going to make these numbers a little bit higher for guys like Derek White, for guys like Drew Holiday. For Tatum, even if he plays, I think it's kind of, with no Brown, I know I had a couple duds without Brown, but still, I just feel like all of these should be just a little bit higher. So I'm bumping up Boston a little bit right off the bat. And I do like Porzingis a little bit. I'm just worried about the minutes. I think like the matchup wise, I think it's a really good spot, but we've got him at, let me just check the minutes, 28. That's actually pretty reasonable. I thought it might even be a little bit less. We did see him play 31 though in the one game he came, and he played the other day. So I'm okay with the 28 projection. I think that maybe we could go a little higher on his number though. So a little bit more interested in Boston than maybe the field is right now, is where I'm at with no Jaylen. And don't even mind if I get to a little bit of Horford, but not going to change his projection any. Milwaukee and Golden State. This could be a fun one. I mean, both teams are playing for a lot. If we can get to Giannis, I think it's a terrific spend up. I just don't know that we're going to, at least with not what we got now. We don't have that many questionables today, guys. This is like a weird day. I always say I don't use Sheets and Goldie's projections for basketball just because it's too hard to keep up to date. This might be a day where we could get away with it. Not even get away with it. It'll differentiate you. I like those projections. It'll differentiate you from other SaberSim users. So stand by. I'll talk about that a little bit more live. We'll see who's in and out by then. But as of right now, that you can see we're reaching for Kevin Porter because he's had some huge games, mostly in blowouts, but still been awesome. Kyle Kuzma's affordable. I think Giannis is the one I want the most of, but again, just going to be hard to get there price-wise. We don't have a ton of value, at least as of yet, on this slate. I like Draymond in this matchup. He would be my highest target. We are getting Steph as doubtful now on the back-to-back. I was sort of expecting that, but I didn't have that initially. So we're going to have to wait to rerun everything. I'm going to sort of just say we're going to have Jimmy Butler, Draymond, probably Moody even looking reasonable, as well as Buddy Hield and Podziemski. So obviously Steph being out is going to open up a lot of opportunity there. They're only 3-point dogs with Curry doubtful. That seems a little odd. But but they've been really good overall. But without Curry, we haven't really seen that too many times. So we'll keep an eye on what happens with Curry right now. That's why these projections are all off. If he does in fact sit, which doubtful usually means out in the NBA. I think that's something that we're going to have to play some Golden State. And again, if we don't know by lock, but he's questionable, then I think then we assume more likely he's playing. But also, I do think you want to wait the later games just because there is some stuff we're waiting for. Like if Mobley's out, who's also questionable today, if we lose Mobley, that makes Jared Allen a great play, who's already a pretty solid play. If we lose Mobley, that bumps up both Mitchell and Garland in what should be a competitive game in LA. So waiting on Mobley. Also, we would get some other form of value, whether you want to use Ty Jerome, DeAndre Hunter, potentially even, I guess they could start Dean Wade. I'm kind of curious who they'd start right now because it's a little, we haven't seen Mobley out as many times with the current roster as constructed since the trade without LeVert now and now with the addition of DeAndre Hunter. So maybe a sneaky DeAndre Hunter thing, although he wouldn't be that sneaky if Mobley's out, I guess. But again, going to have to figure that one out at closer to 6 Eastern when we go live. Look, Kawhi, we can say all we want about how many games he plays and everything. The guy is just an awesome basketball player. Like he's so good and he's so efficient for the most part. He's had a couple of down shooting games, but still, I just think people forgot how good he is. And I am going to be that on the record that I think Zubac is a better play than he's getting credit for. I understand they're good inside defensively. They do play fast. And I also think Harden is – I actually think all of these guys deserve a little bit of a bump just because the nature of the matchup. So I am going to bump them up just a little bit. And they get sort of all the usage. But if you wanted a large field, take a long shot play, I think Bogdanovich is in play for that category. Just, not in love with the price, but he's always got that, coming in, firing, hits his first 3 threes. Next thing you know, he's got 40 fantasy points. And, by the end of the game, I could see that happening. So obviously waiting on a lot. It's early in the day. It's only a 4-gamer. We'll touch on FanDuel real quick. I'm just going to go over, and I haven't built the lineups yet, but we don't need to build them. We can just, again, there's so much stuff that we need to find out later. Mostly it's Steph and Jason Tatum and Mobley. Those are the 3 big pieces we're waiting on today. Whereas yesterday we were waiting on like 95 pieces and most of them didn't play. So weird slate last night was. I'm guessing it took 5 million points to win, but I don't even know what you had to play, like Jalen Green, and I guess you had to play the some of the obviously the top end and some of the indie value. You had to play Grimes. So I'm curious what actually ended up taking it down last night. I obviously wasn't around. I was out with my kids, so I didn't. One of the NBA slates that I've missed, one of the few I've missed recently. Yeah, Jeffries, I think, will show up a lot more over here. I think Nick Smith will show up a lot more over here just because the way the structure works and position eligibility and all that. Terrence Mann getting a lot more love over here as well at a cheap price tag. And I actually think it's a good matchup for him, as well as Vit Krejci. Those are the biggest different guys on showing up on FanDuel for me at first look. So I'm going to take a quick look in the chat and see if there's any questions or thoughts. Doesn't look like there is. It's a small slate, early preview. Going to get my golf stuff ready today, do my research. Get ready for another week. It was a good showdown week for me, a terrible main slate week for me on DraftKings, fine on FanDuel, but terrible on DraftKings for me last week. That's what I'm going to do, though. I'm a gambler when it comes to golf. I will take shots with my guys, and if they don't end up making the cut, I'm dead. If the cut goes to even, I probably make a fortune last week. It's just what it is. Ends up at 1 under. I had literally I think 4 of my 8 core plays that were like even. So it was a tough. Michael Kim, bogeying on a 3-putt on day that really just sunk me on Friday. I know a lot of people played him, but I had even more than the field. So basically knocked me out of having any real chances. So anyway, guys, good luck to everybody today. We'll be live at 6 Eastern. I'll probably stick around for 20 minutes or so at 6 Eastern. Then I will jump into our premium Discord, probably around 6:30 or 6:40 Eastern. And probably do some late swap stuff as well, although I do have a company meeting tonight. I know we've added tools, but we're continuing to add them. So check out what we've got going, guys. It's a really, really awesome stuff. So again, we're still sort of we're reorganizing the site and changing the design and stuff like that, so it makes it easier and more functional to use. But we are going to be raising prices without a doubt. Everybody who's in now is grandfathered in. They're not going to be charged anymore at all. But I did want to mention that because we are we have no choice but to change our pricing at this moment because we just have too many offerings and too much money allocated to some of these new tools that were being developed. Anyway, good luck to everybody today. Hope you guys crush it. I'll get out of here and